Caleb?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice. Once again, people know me as Selo like Jello.
Selo like
I
Jello.
always tell people, so first name is Selo, last name is Kuvuna. Could you tell us your name again?
My name is Caleb Hernandez.
Caleb Hernandez.
Yeah.
Nice. And what church are we at?
Trinity Church in Cedar Hill, Texas.
Cedar Hill, Texas. I know, right next to DeSoto.
Hey, right
which
there,
is what I
right to the
appreciate.
border. Yeah, it's
Yes,
good. It's
I
good.
always appreciate that. Actually, one thing that's interesting is when I first moved out to Texas from North Carolina, DeSoto was the place that I actually stayed in first.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so now I just moved out to Dallas just recently and whatnot.
Okay,
But
cool,
if anything,
cool.
if you could tell us, what is your position here at Trinity Church?
So I'm a elementary pastor here at Trinity Church.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And Trinity Church is located, you said, in Cedar Hill
Uh-huh.
as well, too. So how is it that you got yourself to Cedar Hill, if anything?
So I grew up here in North Texas, bounced around from a lot of non-denominational churches, Pentecostal Assemblies of God, and I guess when I went to an Assemblies of God church in Fort Worth to be a children's pastor there.
Okay.
And I had visited Trinity before that, and I spent my later years in high school here, actually.
Oh, wow.
And so then I heard that they had an opening here, so I just,
Yeah.
took a shot, and they liked me, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So,
Now, you did bring up high school and whatnot, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
So it's high school, and then, of course, the transition into somewhat ministry as
Yeah.
well, too.
Yeah.
So how is it, and when is it that you kind of knew you wanted to kind of play a role in children's lives as well?
Man, it was in kids ministry, or in high school, I started helping in kids ministry here at this church and at some other churches. Just bouncing around, plugged in, and I was just like, I got a heart for it then, And as I was coming closer to graduation, I was like, God, what do you want for my life? What's next? Where's the direction? And
Right.
I just felt that major pull. I thought about youth ministry as well.
Right.
But kids ministry, I really felt the pull there because you can minister to kids and continue to be a part of their life as they grow. You know what I mean? And so it's like you can constantly watch their life. You can transition with them to youth ministry. And I'm blessed because I've been here for a while. I've been able to see that. Like a lot of the kids that I used to minister to when I first got in kids ministry, they're graduating this year.
Oh,
and so it's like
wild.
I've been able to be with them their whole life, and now we're friends. And so it's a great reason to choose kids ministry, I guess, or be called to kids ministry.
Right.
So.
And I was going to ask, since we're speaking on the whole topic of kids ministry and whatnot, is there any specific methods that you guys use that you guys prefer? Say creative methods like storytelling, or do you guys use puppetry like with the puppets and everything like that? Or do you guys do, kind of recite a Bible verse? Is there anything that you guys kind of prone to?
Yeah, so we actually take a few different approaches because we have so many kids, and we try to incorporate all of them together.
Okay.
And so you brought up a lot of examples that we do use. We definitely do live action characters, puppets. We do a lot of repetition with our verses.
Okay.
Because if we can ingrain that into them, they learn it, they're constantly getting it fed, and then hopefully one day the idea is they can use it.
Right.
Just like we do in our lives.
Right.
And so the idea is repetition.
Okay.
Make it fun. We show videos. We give them objects. So like something physical that they can have. We try to hit all of those different learning experiences. We definitely go over the Bible stories. We make those very interactive. Very fun, very fun.
I was going to say, are there any challenges that come about when it is trying to put in the concept of biblical context into something like puppetry or live action and whatnot? What are the challenges that come about when it's just like, okay, we like the idea of the action, now let's try to incorporate the Bible into it? Are there any challenges that come up?
So what we do is we take a theme, and if we're doing our puppets or our characters, the puppet or characters, they do kind of like a real life example, of what the kid could really go through what we're talking about in that theme.
Right.
And then we relate it to a Bible story during the lesson time.
Yeah.
So it's not hard at all because, if Jonah, we're talking about Jonah and the fish, and him going to Nineveh, if we're talking about that, we could talk to kids about how you don't need to run away from your calling. And the puppets or the characters, they'll do an actual real life event that could happen to the kids today. And then in the lesson, we'll just do the whole story of Jonah and say, hey, just like you might be struggling with this and you might want to run away. Well, Jonah also had that choice, something like something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really good.
like that.
Yes, sir.
May I please run light? May you please run
Yes, sir.
lights?
Yes, sir.
Nice. I guess that happens all the time.
All the
Spontaneous,
time.
you got to be
Yeah.
ready for whatever,
Yes,
right?
sir.
No. Okay. I know you were saying it's interesting that you got to see, the kids from the start of young and then see them now and whatnot, like actually about to graduate
Yeah.
and finish out and everything.
It's awesome.
What are some other rewards that come about from one, creating your own lesson plans, creating your own units and whatnot? What's some internal rewards or just some rewards in general that you're like, yes, wow, I took part in that?
I may not be the best one to answer that. I
Okay.
try not to do it for rewards. I just want to serve God,
Right.
and just that. But I guess to answer the question is it delights my heart when the kids are reciting the verses. When
right.
when you see the kids, acting out, the traits that we're trying to teach them, the characteristics we're trying to teach them, the fruits of the Bible that we're trying to teach them, and you see that so alive in the kids, and then it helps with the parents too when the parents connect with us, because we really push that, and the parents just tell us all these stories
Yeah.
of what their kids said or did at home, and I'm like, oh, they're learning something.
Right.
To me, it's just really cool. So I don't know if that answered your
No,
question.
it does.
So,
It does.
yeah.
It does. I did want to know, what do you think about? There's some actually groups and churches that actually believe, okay, when it's kids time, okay, just send the kids over there. Adults, we just need to be right here. Let the kids kind of do whatever they kind of want to do.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, and what is the necessity of the age group of them being kids and youth in that sense, if that makes sense?
Is this a two-part question?
It
kinda?
is,
So
it
like,
is.
I guess the first one is, how do we as a unit, make it not so much of a daycare and make it a church? We have this thing called the Big Idea, or we call it the Power Truth.
Okay.
Every week, and we go over it with the parents. We put it on our Facebook, we put it on our Instagram.
Wow.
When the parents are picking them up,
Yeah.
we tell them, hey, this is what they learned.
Wow.
Make sure you go over it this week with your kid. If the kids tell us that same Power Truth in the next week, that means they've learned it over the week.
Wow.
They've gone over it with their family somehow, and they get what we give them. We give them like points, and they can turn those points into the prize store to get like candy and stuff like that. So it's like a little bit of an incentive. That I think answered your
Yeah,
first part.
to do well.
What was that second?
And then the importance of their youth right now. Do you feel as if everything that they say should kind of be taken seriously because they may be revealing stuff to us
Yeah.
adults that we don't think about?
Yeah. That everything a kid says, we take it very serious. And there's, it's not. There's a whole 1 week training that we go through every year with all of our leaders, and it's like trigger words, I guess you can say, or trigger actions, or the way a kid behaves.
Right.
We just really pay attention. All of our leaders are really trained in listening for that. We have some younger leaders that could use more developing in that.
Okay.
But we have a lot of older leaders.
Okay.
And so that we're listening out for that. Everything a kid says, sure, we want them to express themselves.
Right.
But you just never know what happens all the time at home or at school and stuff. So.
And that's big. That's
big.
big. I probably have about two more questions left. My thing was kind of growing up, there was some churches that I was also in where it was just like, all right, kids, you guys go downstairs and just do whatever. And it's kind of just like, but in the essence of being kids and whatnot, there's still an application that needs to come about to where it's just like you guys did something at church. So my idea and my concept behind it was just like, kids and youth are so important, so therefore they should be valued and whatnot. Could you just explain the value of kids to you guys and to yourself, if anything?
The value of kids to us. Man, I could talk about this I feel like for a long time.
Okay.
They're precious, they're maybe reword it a little bit for me. I want to make sure I answer your question correct.
Okay.
So
the value of the youthfulness of
Like-
what kids bring. So the spunkiness, you have some kids who are quiet in their sense and everything like that. In my opinion, I feel like each and every single kid, they bring something that of value to the table.
Yeah.
So if anything, I could even reword the question to where it's just like, what's something that you've seen growing up as a child that you've always honored and that you always kind of appreciated that the elders did?
I get it. All right. So what I try to help teach our leaders, and this is because when I was a kid, when people didn't talk to me necessarily as a kid, and they could talk to me as a person,
Yeah.
you know, for me as a kid, I was like, oh, they think I'm cool. You know, this teenager who I think is super cool is taking time out to talk to me like a normal person.
Right.
You know, they must think I'm cool.
Right.
And so we try to teach our leaders, hey, you know, talk to them about their lives. You know, ask them something about their week. Tell them something about your week. Talk to them like people. Connect with them.
Right.
Because everything that they feel, you felt. You know, and we still feel as adults.
Yeah.
You know, connection and loving people is just part of us. And so it's that's. I mean, I think that answers your question.
Thank you. It does. It does.
Yeah.
And my very last question for today, once again, thank you so much.
No.
My very last question for today is, what advice do you have for somebody like me who's pursuing ministry as well, specifically in children and family ministry? What is something that you would advise us to do or to be on the lookout for, or in a way to kind of prepare? Some words of encouragement or words of advice that you would say?
Man, just in any ministry, stay fed up. Regardless of where you're going, stay, you know, in the Word.
Right.
Have a strong devotional life. I've seen people minister without a strong devotional life.
Yeah.
And they just burn out. And because, you know, things will be thrown your way. And then Peter, I mean, he wrote in 1 Peter, I forget the chapter, but, you know, he just wrote, you know, make sure you know when you're being questioned, make sure you know the Word.
Right.
And I've taken that to heart because people have asked me things and I'm like, how do I defend my faith right now? You know, it's like, and so just stay fed up, stay hungry, and just love with everything you can. Understand how God loved us, you know, and I'm sure you understand this, but just understand how God loved us because you're going to show a lot of that. I mean, we can never show as much love as God shows us, but you're going to show a lot of it to any age group or any group you go to, you know. Just that would be the biggest thing I could say. Just stay fed up, man.
That's awesome. It's crazy that I'm actually underlining what you said, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the most important. A lot of people burn out because they know the Bible.
Yeah.
But you could study the same thing, but you'll learn something new about God's love in that same thing that you've read 100 times.
Wow.
If you just continue to grow your relationship with Him. Fast. Do things that really push your faith. Tithe. You know, do things that really push your faith towards knowing God on a deeper level. We can always grow in that. So it'll be the most helpful thing in the world.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Look, I'm gonna give you a hug. Get you out of here.
Come on, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Big time, man.
Yeah,
Big
I
time.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Be blessed.